Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Raising an Ace. Today's episode is going to be about raising Ace to be positive.
Say hi, Ace.
Can you say hi?
Mwah.
Blow a kiss, baby. Blow a kiss. You can do it.
We really want Ace to be positive. That's his responsibility. And sometimes being positive gets a bad rep, Miriam.
Right.
For good reason.
Yeah.
So even as someone, I self-identify as a positive person.
Yeah.
Master's degree in positive psychology. Even me, I can't stand those too positive people. Those people that don't look in the mirror to improve or see the realities of a situation. So we're not talking about that in this video. We're not talking about... You gotta put him in the high chair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about fake positivity or negative positivity. We're talking about real positivity and positive positivity for a positive purpose.
Right.
So that's like, sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and improve, and that can come off as a negative mentality when that's really positive. Or look at a situation for what it is. Don't put it on a band-aid to a situation. Be real with it, and then have an optimistic, hopeful attitude to improve through it. So as we go along in this video, the whole video in a way is defining positivity, and we're going to talk about mind tests to instill in Ace and some examples too. So let's get into it. Ace is settled down over there. We'll bring him back towards the end.
Yes.
And the first thing that we want to mention is positivity is the truth. It's very hard to be a positive person if you're fake. And one point of that is when you say something and you feel like you're stronger from it, that's your truth. If you say something and you feel weaker, stop saying that. And this is tied into also when someone is too positive, sometimes they're positive on the outside, but on the inside they're hurting. Like that's a bad positivity to have. Or you think everything is great, I'm amazing at this, but you're really not and you can improve. Those are positivities that we want Ace to avoid. And this leads into the next thing where we're gonna break that down. Sometimes there's such thing as positive negative mentalities and positive negative emotions. This is more of an advanced thing. So if your child's like under 5, you won't really have to use this. But positive negative mentalities is I can envision Ace getting older and saying something like, you know, I don't really feel good going into this math test. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do well. You know, and we're gonna honor that. Like maybe he's actually self-reflecting and realizing he didn't study enough. Like sometimes you have to look in the mirror and understand that. We don't want him to have disillusioned mentalities or lie to himself pretty much.
We want him to realize his own truth.
For sure, and that's like whatever the truth is, acknowledge that. Emotions especially, this is where this is particularly important. Because if he says something to us going into a presentation like I'm nervous, we gotta validate that. That's not a negative mentality, that's a positive negative mentality. Or if he's sad and he's mourning something, you can use your sadness as a positive self-reflection tool to improve, to soul search, to get through something. You know, you have to distinguish that. In sports too, I can envision him being age 7 or something and losing a basketball game and crying his eyes out. We're not gonna be like, Ace, just be positive. Because no, then you're encouraging fake positivity. That's not what we want. He needs to understand, failing even at a basketball game, that's a teaching tool. You know, it's better to try and fail than to not try at all.
Right.
You know, so this is like, you have to recognize when to be positive and when sometimes being negative is the positive thing to do. And again, this is not for babies. Like with babies, just always be positive pretty much, because they're not gonna really learn like positive negative mentalities at such an early age. But over 5, look, this is very important. And if you find any conflict with me saying that, because it's somewhat of a contradiction, it's not. And I'm gonna reference previous videos on confidence and humility. Remember when I said it's better to be overconfident than not confident at all? Same thing here. Like you can be too positive and even have fake positivity, right? As a 2 or 3-year-old. And then as you get older, it's your parents' responsibility to teach you the appropriate level of positivity, just like the appropriate level of confidence. And the next point that we want to emphasize is we don't want to reinforce low expectations. Sometimes positivity is disguised as praising everything, which is what we don't want. And I thought about something, you know, I told you, I saw something on Facebook, someone praising their child for getting all B's on B honor roll. And I was thinking to myself, like, we're not going to do that with Ace.
Yeah. I mean, that's like later on in life. Like right now, he's only 11 months old,
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
praise everything that he do.
Exactly. And why do we do that? Because there's low expectations, which is fine.
Right.
He's almost 1 year old. You know, that's a big point too. Like if a baby's under 3 or 4, just praise everything. That's good.
Yeah.
And that's the big point too, is praise the good more so than criticizing the bad.
Yeah.
You know, praise what you want and you're gonna get more of that. You know, but for when a child gets older, you gotta be conscious with praise. So we're not gonna praise him for something at age 7 that he's been doing since age 2. You know, at a certain point, we're not going to be like, Ace, you did your homework. That's amazing.
No.
Like, you didn't scream at us for 20 minutes. Good job.
Yeah.
Like, you put your dish in this thing. Great job. Like, if that's the expectation, don't praise the expectation level.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a deep thing if you want to foster real positivity in your child.
So when you were saying, like, the person that was praising their child about the B that they were getting, so we're not saying that we're not going to praise them for getting the B.
It depends.
We're going to say, oh, that's amazing, but if you work a little harder, you can get an A.
And it's like, everything is
You know?
with context.
Yeah.
So if it was like a subject that he's not good in, and say he got a C in the last quarter, but he got a B now, then you praise it, right? So everything is within context, of course.
Yeah.
And the next form of positivity that we want to emphasize is the positivity that most people think of, which is important. It's like a positive frame of mind, right? Like whatever you're going through, you have to look at the realities of the situation, be real with that, but then have a hopeful, optimistic attitude to improve through it.
Yeah.
So even like through adversity, say, if he breaks his leg in 4th grade, have a positive mindset to overcome that. If he has a stutter and that affects his social skills, you know, think you're going to overcome that. Have an I will overcome mentality on things. You know, and even on a global scale, when he gets older, he'll see things on a global scale. Like right now, the coronavirus, racial tension, civil unrest. Like you can acknowledge the realities of the situation. Don't just neglect that part and just only see positive. But when you see that, have a productive, positive mindset to overcome it.
Yeah.
And I think about a Kobe quote right here. Kobe Bryant once said, "Everything negative, challenges, pressure, is an opportunity for me to rise."
Right.
So I encourage everyone watching this, rise through your adversity. Make you better.
Yeah.
And with Ace, the small scale adversities that he encounters, we're going to instill that same mindset into him. Digest the information in a productive way, and then from there, have a productive solution to overcome it.
Right.
You know, and this ties into like, instead of complaining about something, you can complain somewhat, especially if someone's unjust. I wouldn't define that as complaining, to be honest. But at the same time, you have to have a productive solution to that.
Yeah.
You know, combine that to overcome something. So find the purpose in your pain, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And this is even tied into anything. Like, we don't want him complaining about anything. Yeah. If he's age 5 and he doesn't want to eat broccoli, like, we're going to try to limit that complaining. A lot of this will come from explaining the purpose of what we do with them, like we said in the To Be Purposeful video. Like, sometimes you have to experience discomfort for your own benefit down the road. Yeah. Like, that will kind of flip that complaining upside down at times.
Yeah.
And like, this is important with anything. Like, even mindfulness is really important with this. Don't complain about the past. So if Ace, say he spilled juice on himself at age 5 and his shirt was messy in the morning, don't let that affect your whole day. Like, practice mindfulness, which we're gonna emphasize in a future video. We're just staying in the present moment to overcome stuff.
Yeah.
And then this ties into just reacting in general to anything in your life. You really got to monitor that. Like, have a positive reaction to it. And we're gonna model this for Ace too, especially even now. Like, if he falls or something, we're not gonna be like, Ace, you fell.
We never do that, actually.
Nah.
Every time he falls, we act like we didn't see it, so he just gets back up.
Yeah, sometimes ignoring things is a good strategy.
Yeah.
Because like, that's like, if you act like it's the end of the world, then that instills a negative mentality of, I'm not gonna overcome this in the child.
So every time he falls, he's just gonna cry, you know?
if he cries.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually he doesn't, so.
Yeah, and I think about a post I wrote called Go Heavy on It. I'm going to mention this quickly. Inky Johnson, I mentioned him. He tells this story. His 7-year-old fell on his bike, and he mentioned that his wife was acting hysterical. Act like he got shot 20 times, according to Inky Johnson. And Inky was like, he just dusted his son off, put him back on the bike, and said, go heavy on it. Overcome this experience. Overcome this. Then the child screamed out, this is the best day ever. Because, like, the key here is, like we said in the Courageous video, don't instill unnecessary fears into your child. You know, enable them to overcome things, have a positive mindset, not a victim mentality or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and this is like, we're going to be conscious about everyone in Ace's life. We want positive people in his life. Man, there's some people I can just tell. I don't know if I have a sense, but I can just tell when people are attached to drama or negativity, just give off negative vibes.
Right.
They got a porcupine on their back that they can't get off.
Yeah.
We don't want Ace to be around those sort of people. Where this will come into play is honestly when we choose a daycare or a school for him down the road. I'm just going to walk in, I'm just going to monitor. That's the number one thing. Is it a positive environment or a negative environment?
Yeah.
And again, we're not talking a negative environment like negative emotions or negative mentalities to improve. That's not negativity. We're not defining that as that.
Yeah.
But that's so big, and we're going to model that tied to positive psychology. Focus on what you want, not in preventing what you don't want. So we're going to frame things in a positive mind when we're talking with Ace.
Right.
So instead of emphasizing avoiding things, we're going to prioritize doing things. So it's like, even in conversation, we're going to ask him, like, so what do you desire, Ace? What is a good thing to do in this scenario?
Yeah.
You know, really get him to see that positive frame of mind. We're not going to say things like, don't be lazy, don't be mean, don't throw food on the ground, don't go in the corner. Instead, we're going to flip that. Be like, play in the middle of the room, eat food on your plate, be kind, act wise. You know, having a positive environment here, that's going to be really important.
Yeah.
And he's going to recognize that he can see the good in things. You know, and that's so important, to just have a positivity lens on life.
Yeah.
You know, and Ace he has a positivity lens right now because he's just watching us talk about it. But soon we're going to bring him over. So like the positivity lens, I'll mention a few things on that. Gratitude and appreciation. That's really important. We're going to emphasize being grateful in a future video where we'll go deeper into it.
Yeah.
Also, opportunities that you face. Like we mentioned, have a positive mentality on that.
Yeah.
A big one, the people that you meet. When you first encounter someone, don't assume negative intentions, right?
Right. Yeah, because like Maya Angelou said, don't.
Yeah, it's like don't.
Wait.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
It's cool. So yeah, Maya Angelou says something
she
like,
said,
when someone shows you their true colors,
believe them.
exactly. So like,
Well, no, something like, if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
exactly. So
Yeah.
like, until proven otherwise,
Sorry,
assume
Maya
positive intention. Hopefully she accepts our apology.
Right.
But so back to our point.
Yeah.
So like, again, for one individual, you can change your mindset on them, but don't let one person dictate your mindset towards the whole group.
Right.
So many people do this. They have 1 or 10 bad experiences with a white person, a black person, a male or female. Then they categorize the whole group as a negative thing. That's a very bad thing. We want Ace.
Something that's going on right now.
Yeah, we want Ace to maintain positive attitudes no matter what. Even if someone is racist towards him or negative towards him or whining to him, don't adopt that same mentality. People like being around positive people and positive vibes. We want Ace to brighten up people's day when he enters the room.
Yes.
You know, that's going to lead to so many different advantages for him pretty much.
Right.
And like, this is the big thing in this video. Like, be positive no matter what. Again, not fake positivity, not being positive about a situation and not seeing the realities of it. But in terms of being optimistic, recognizing the truth, your truth, that's what being positive is all about. Master your positivity. And then don't just be positive in a bubble. Expand. Encourage other people to be positive. Uplift other people to have hope for the future.
Yeah.
And to you parents out there, really think about that connection between truth and positivity.
Yeah.
And be real. Have real positivity. Make your child understand that there's a lot of possibilities out there. Be open-minded to positive action for the future and have hope for the future. That's really important. I hope us as parents and every parent out there encourages that for their children.
Yes.
And Ace, you want to come back over here?
Yes, I'm gonna go get them, guys.
Come on, Ace.
Come on, Ace,
Yeah.
say bye to them. You can do it.
And again, like, share the message, number one.
Number one.
We care if you share the video, but look, I would rather you share the message than the video.
Yeah.
You know, or do both. So it was great talking with you. Seriously, reflect on positivity, real
Blow a
positivity.
kiss.
That's
Blow a kiss.
important. Say goodbye, Ace. Say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we love you guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. It's a button somewhere.
On the bottom somewhere. Take care. Peace out.
Bye.